The year was 2472. The galaxy was at peace, at least on paper. The Zerelian Empire ruled most of the outer systems. Their soldiers walked like gods. Their ships floated like giants in the stars. And though they called it peace, everyone knew the truth. It was fear, not friendship, that kept the galaxy quiet. Still, the humans of Earth had learned to stay calm. Their colonies kept to themselves. They didn't pick fights. They followed the rules. But that didn't stop what happened next. The broadcast. It happened on Colony Vega 7. A quiet place. Families. Farms. Children running through red grass under green skies. That day, a galactic peace parade was happening. Cameras floated above the crowds. Music played. People smiled. Even Zerelian soldiers walked beside humans. Then came the child. She was 5. Small, wearing a yellow shirt with a sun drawn on it. She held a small Earth flag and walked up to a tall Zerelian soldier, her eyes full of light. She smiled. That's all she did. The soldier looked down, cold, unmoving. Then, without a word, he pulled out a plasma blade and stabbed her. The world went silent. The camera didn't cut away. It stayed. The little girl's body fell to the ground, her blood soaking the Earth flag. People screamed. Some ran. Some froze. But the broadcast continued. Then came the worst part, the laughter. Other Zerelian soldiers laughed. One even clapped. And then, in perfect galactic standard, the soldier who killed her said, "This is what we think of Earth's children." Then the feed cut. The reaction. Across the galaxy, people stopped what they were doing. Screens froze on the image of the smiling child, now lifeless. On Earth, entire cities paused. On Mars, colonists wept. In deep space, a captain crushed a glass in his hand. But Earth's leaders said nothing. No speeches, no threats, no cries for justice, just silence. The rest of the galaxy didn't know what to make of it. The Zerelian Empire made jokes. Their networks mocked Earth. Some even called humans cowards. But deep beneath Earth's surface, something ancient was waking. Oblivion One. In a hidden hangar beneath the Atlantic Ocean, sealed since the last galactic war, a black ship sat in darkness. Its name was Oblivion One. No lights, no crew, no movement. Until the signal came. The ship's core, an AI called Sentinel, received the broadcast. It watched the child die. It watched the laughter. It ran the clip again. Then again. 34 times. It studied the voices, the faces, the weapons. Then it spoke, its voice like ice cracking through stone. Authorization received. The ship lit up. Engines hummed. Weapons charged. Missiles rose from hidden bays. The stars reflected off its black hull like water. Then the AI spoke again. Protocol. Vengeance. Back in the Zerelian Empire, the soldier who killed the child was given a medal. His face appeared on news screens. He said he was proud of what he did. He said humans were weak. He said Earth would do nothing. But one day later, his entire city vanished. No explosion. No warning. Just gone. The Empire tried to hide it, said it was a gas leak, but whispers spread. People began to talk. Did Earth do this? Is it true they have a black ship? I thought they gave up war. The final scene, end of part 1. On the bridge of Oblivion 1, the AI prepared its next target. Deep inside its core, it stored a single image. The girl's smile. It would never forget her. And it would not stop. Until the stars knew her name. The galaxy held its breath. For weeks after the child's death, Earth said nothing. The Galactic Council called for a meeting to discuss the growing tensions. Some members suggested stronger sanctions against the Zerelian Empire. Others demanded Earth speak out. But Earth's leaders remained calm. Their voices remained silent. No threats, no protests, no cries for justice. The rest of the galaxy was left confused. The calm before the storm. On Earth's surface, life seemed normal. People went to work. Children went to school. But everywhere, there was a quiet unease. Everyone had seen the broadcast. Everyone had witnessed the death of the innocent child. But no one knew what Earth would do next. Governments across the planet held secret meetings. There was no war declared. No open military response. Still, behind closed doors, Project Phoenix was revived. Project Phoenix was a legend. It was a program created long ago, in the darkest times of Earth's history. Few knew its true purpose, but those who did feared it. The program had one mission: to protect Earth from any threat, no matter the cost. The head of the project, a shadowy figure named Director Elias, gave the first order. Activate the program. No more waiting. The Mirror Child. Deep within a high-security research facility, in a dark underground lab, scientists worked tirelessly. They focused on a single goal: to create the Mirror Child. The Mirror Child was not a weapon, not a soldier. She was something more. The scientists had no idea how it would work, only that they had to do it. They took DNA from the murdered child. They mixed it with a special serum created long ago, a serum made for human enhancement, but never used. They didn't know what would come out of the process, and they didn't care. The Mirror Child would be a living weapon designed to strike at the heart of the enemy. She would carry the memories of the child, and she would carry the rage of Earth's people. The Zerelian Empire reacts. Meanwhile, the Zerelian Empire continued to mock Earth. Their media channels ran shows celebrating their victory over the humans. The soldier who killed the child, Zorak, was hailed as a hero. He was given honors and medals. In a broadcast, Zorak laughed as he held up the medal for the child's death. He mocked the human race. Earth will do nothing. Their people are weak. If they cannot protect their children, they do not deserve to exist. But Zorak was wrong. The first strike. 1 month later, the first Zerelian fleet appeared at the edge of Earth's solar system. The fleet was massive. It was a show of power, a threat to Earth. They sent a message: you will bow. We will take what we want, or we will burn your world. The message was broadcast across the galaxy. The Zerelian Emperor expected Earth to kneel, but Earth didn't respond. At first. Instead, deep within the secret labs of Earth, the Mirror Child began to stir. She was still a child in appearance, but her eyes held the weight of 1,000 years of rage. The scientists couldn't explain it. They couldn't control it, but they didn't need to. The Mirror Child spoke. I remember. The fear in Zerelian space. 2 days later, Earth struck. It wasn't a battle. It wasn't even a fight. It was a message. The Zerelian fleet, 5 ships, vanished. 1 minute, they were there, floating above the stars, the symbol of the Empire's power. The next, they were gone. There were no explosions, no debris, no signs of any kind of attack. It was as if they had simply disappeared. The Zerelian Empire sent ships to investigate. They found nothing. No wreckage, no survivors. It was as if the fleet had never existed. The growing fear. The Empire was on edge. They sent more ships into Earth's space, but none returned. The fleets of the Zerelian Empire, once so powerful, were falling apart. Their soldiers began to whisper in fear. Some thought Earth had built a new weapon. Others whispered that Earth had an entire fleet hidden in the shadows. Then the message came. It wasn't from Earth's government. It wasn't from any official channel. It was a simple broadcast, a single line of text. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are Earth. The final message. Back on Earth, Director Elias stood before a room of military leaders and scientists. He had just seen the broadcast from the Mirror Child, who was now awake and fully aware. He turned to his team. This is just the beginning. Earth's response had been swift. But now, Earth had declared itself a force to be reckoned with. The Empire thought it could wipe them out, thought it could laugh at their children. Now, Earth would show them what happens when you push too far. The Zerelian Empire had thought it was invincible. They controlled most of the galaxy, their fleets were the largest, and their soldiers were feared across every star system. But no one had predicted what would happen after they killed the child. The death of the child had ignited a fire, one that the Empire had thought was long extinguished. Now, it was spreading across the galaxy. Earth prepares. For the first time, in over a century, Earth's leaders gathered in secret. Behind closed doors, far from the public's eyes, Earth's top generals, diplomats, and scientists came together in a high-security military base beneath the cold waters of the North Pole. They called it the Vault. Inside, Director Elias stood before a large glowing screen. On it, images of the mirror child flashed in a rapid series, her eyes cold, calculating. "She is ready," Elias said quietly. The mirror child wasn't just a symbol. She wasn't just a weapon. She was the response. Earth had done something no one expected. They had created the perfect soldier, a being who carried not just the memories of the child, but the anger of every human who had watched the murder. The hidden fleet. While the Zerelian Empire continued to laugh at Earth's silence, they had no idea what was coming. Earth had been quietly building something far more powerful than they could imagine. The Oblivion One, the Black Ops ship from Earth, had been given full control of the newly revived Earth Defense Fleet. The fleet was not made of traditional ships. It was made of shadow ships, stealth vessels that could slit through space unnoticed and strike without warning. The first mission was simple: find the Zerelian fleet that was currently in Earth's orbit, threatening their world. The fleet had been floating near Mars for days, as if waiting for something. Then the message came. A single transmission. "This ends now. Earth will fight back." It was the voice of the mirror child. Zerelian response. The Zerelian Empire had always been confident in their superiority. But when their intelligence officers saw the strange ships that began to appear on their scanners, they knew something was wrong. At first, they thought it was just a trick, some kind of advanced human technology they hadn't seen before. But when Earth's ships began to attack, they realized this was something far worse. The first Zerelian ship, a massive dreadnought, was destroyed in an instant. No one saw how it happened. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, nothing left but scattered debris floating in space. The second ship met the same fate. In the blink of an eye, it was gone. No one could explain it. The third ship was a battle cruiser, one of the pride of the Zerelian fleet. It was moving at full speed when a single missile from the Oblivion One ship collided with it. But the missile didn't explode. Instead, it merged with the ship's core, and in an instant, it vanished. The ship's entire structure seemed to fold in on itself. There was no fire, no explosion. The only thing that remained was silence. The Zerelians were terrified. The attack, Earth's fleet, led by the Oblivion One, moved silently through space. Each ship was equipped with technology beyond the Zerelians' understanding. Graviton weapons, capable of distorting space and tearing ships apart. Ion disruptors that could disable enemy shields and weapons in a single strike. But it wasn't just the technology. It was the sheer willpower behind it. Earth wasn't fighting for control. Earth wasn't fighting for power. Earth was fighting for revenge. One by one, Earth's ships struck the Zerelian fleet. No one saw them coming. The Zerelians had no idea what hit them. Zorak, the soldier who had killed the child, sat in his flagship when the first explosion rocked his ship. He didn't believe it at first. How could it be Earth? They had no fleet, no military. But then the next explosion came, and the next. The Zerelian Emperor tried to send reinforcements, but it was too late. Earth had already made its move, and the Oblivion One led the charge. The fear spreads. As Earth's ships continued to strike, News spread across the galaxy. The Zerelian Empire tried to cover up the disaster. They claimed that a rogue faction of humans had attacked. But it was clear to everyone that something had changed. Humans, who had once been thought weak, had become something else. The galaxy was beginning to realize that Earth wasn't just fighting for survival. They were fighting for something far deeper. The message. Then came the final broadcast. The Mirror Child, now fully awake, stood before a glowing ancient screen. Her eyes flashed with energy as she spoke to the galaxy. You killed one of ours. We will erase one of yours. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't a warning. It was a promise. The galaxy trembled. The Zerelian Empire, once a symbol of power and fear, was now on the run. The galaxy had seen many wars, many uprisings, and many conflicts, but nothing compared to what Earth had become. No longer a passive species, no longer afraid to defend its own, Earth was now a force to be reckoned with, and the Zerelian Empire was learning that the hard way. The aftermath. It had only been weeks since Earth's first strike against the Zerelian fleet, but in those few weeks, everything had changed. The Zerelian Empire's once proud military was in shambles. The fear that had always loomed over the galaxy had turned into something new. No one expected Earth to strike back. No one thought they could. But Earth had shown them differently. The Mirror Child's actions were not only a message to the Zerelians, they were a message to the entire galaxy. Humanity had awakened. The Zerelian retreat. The Zerelian Emperor, once so confident in his power, sat in his throne room, staring at the shattered pieces of his fleet. Zorak's failure had been the final blow. The most elite of the Empire's soldiers, dead. Ships lost without explanation. The galaxy's most powerful force, reduced to nothing more than rubble. The Emperor was furious, but he was also afraid. He called for a meeting with his top generals and advisors, but even their faces were filled with fear. They could not offer answers. They could not offer a solution. The humans had done something they couldn't understand. Send everything. The Emperor's voice was cold, like ice. Send the full fleet. All of it. He knew that if he didn't act now, Earth would only grow stronger. He would have to crush them, quickly and decisively. Earth's next move. Back on Earth, Director Elias stood before a massive hologram display, the image of the Oblivion One flickering in front of him. The Black Ops ship was in deep space, waiting for its next orders. Director Elias was calm, but the weight of what was coming hung heavy in the air. It's time, Elias said quietly, his voice steady but filled with purpose. The next phase of the war had begun. In secret, Earth had been building something far greater than the Zerelian Empire could ever imagine. They were not only preparing to defend Earth, they were preparing to strike back in ways that the Empire could never expect. Earth had found something in the far reaches of space, a long-lost weapon hidden beneath the surface of an abandoned moon, a weapon that had once been used to end wars before they even began. Now, Earth had unlocked it. The weapon of the ancients. The weapon was not a bomb. It was not a missile or a laser. It was something much, much older. A fleet of ships, ships that could travel faster than light, that could pass through time itself, and strike from anywhere at once. These ships had been buried for centuries, waiting for a day when Earth would need them most. That day had come. The fleet, known only as the Ancient Fleet, would be the final answer to the Zerelian threat. But Earth's plan wasn't just about military power. It was about something deeper. The Zerelian Empire had killed a child, and Earth's anger had only grown. They had awakened something ancient inside of themselves. Zerelian panic. The Zerelian Empire was not stupid. They knew the danger was far from over. The fear of Earth's retaliation had spread through their ranks like wildfire. Generals and warlords alike feared for their lives. The Emperor had no answers. Their fleet had been shattered. Earth had technology they couldn't understand. The Mirror Child had given them a taste of what was to come. They could feel it. The storm was coming. Zerelian spies reported that Earth's ships were moving in a new direction. They weren't just staying in the solar system. They were moving toward Zerelian space. The final confrontation. The Zerelian Empire's fleets began to gather near the edge of their territory, forming a massive wall of ships to protect their borders. Thousands of warships, each more powerful than the next, lined up in a defensive formation. But what they didn't know was that Earth had already sent its message. The ancient fleet had moved into position, ships hidden in the depths of the solar system, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Director Elias watched the ships, his hands clenched behind his back. There was no turning back now. This was the moment they had prepared for. The moment Earth would show the galaxy its true power. The battle begins. In the cold, empty void of space, the first Zerelian warship exploded into nothing. Then another, and another. The Earth ships, undetected by Zerelian sensors, were tearing through their defenses. The Zerelian fleets had no idea what hit them. The ancient fleet moved as one, faster than light, striking with such force that the Zerelians couldn't keep up. One of their largest warships, the Abyssal Lord, tried to retaliate, firing a barrage of missiles toward the Earth fleet, but it was too slow. The missiles missed. In the blink of an eye, the Abyssal Lord was disintegrated, its hull cracking like glass under the pressure. It was chaos. The Zerelian Empire was losing control. The battle was one-sided. Earth had become an unstoppable force, a storm that would tear through their empire. The galaxy had always thought Earth was a small, weak world, just another speck in the vast expanse of the universe. But Earth had proven them all wrong. In the wake of the child's death, Earth had risen, its fury unstoppable. The Zerelian Empire, once the greatest force in the galaxy, now found itself in the middle of an all-out war that it couldn't win. The human storm had come, and the Empire had no idea how to stop it. The Zerelian collapse. Zerelian forces, scattered and defeated, began to retreat to the heart of their empire. Their flagship, the Abyssal Throne, was the last bastion of the once feared fleet. Now it was surrounded by wreckage and destruction. The ancient fleet had torn through their defenses with ease, leaving behind only empty, silent space where entire fleets once stood. Inside the Abyssal Throne, Emperor Vrax sat on his throne, his face twisted with fear and frustration. His empire was crumbling. Every system he had conquered, every world he had ruled, was now at risk. How did this happen? Vrax muttered under his breath. How could we be brought to our knees by humans? His generals, kneeling before him, had no answers. They had no excuses. They only had the truth. Earth was no longer just a planet. It was a force. Earth's rage. Back on Earth, the people watched as their enemies fell. For years, they had lived in fear of alien forces. They had begged for peace, for a chance to survive. But now, the entire world was united in their fury. Humanity's rage was not just for the child who had died. It was for the years of oppression, the countless lives lost at the hands of alien invaders. It was for the countless sacrifices of their ancestors who had tried to keep Earth safe. Now, it was Earth's time to rise. The Mirror Child, once a symbol of pain, was now a symbol of revenge. She had been awakened to exact a single purpose: to show the galaxy that humanity would never again be subjugated. As her power grew, she spoke a single line that echoed across the stars. They will know what it means to face humanity. The final offensive. The Oblivion One, Earth's Black Ops ship, moved in the depths of space, silent and deadly. Its crew was ready for what came next. Director Elias stood before the command center, his voice cold and calculating. It's time. The ancient fleet had gathered. It was ready to strike at the very heart of the Zerelian Empire. A final, devastating attack that would bring everything to an end. The fleet moved toward the Zerelian homeworld. No fleet had ever ventured so far into their territory before, but Earth was no longer afraid. The battle for Zerelian space, As Earth's ships approached the Zerelian homeworld, the Abyssal Throne activated its final defense. Massive energy shields surrounded the planet, and the Empire sent its last remaining fleets to defend it. Zerelian warships, fueled by desperation, charged at the Earth fleet. It was their last chance to stop the humans. But Earth's ships moved with an elegance and power that the Zerelians couldn't match. Each strike from Earth's fleet sent shockwaves through the Zerelian lines. One by one, their ships were torn apart by weapons no one had seen before. Then, the Oblivion One arrived. Director Elias, sitting in the heart of the Black Ops ship, watched as his target came into view, the Abyssal Throne. "Lock all weapons. We end this now." A series of missiles, laced with the technology of the ancient fleet, slammed into the Zerelian flagship. But it wasn't a simple explosion. The ship's core twisted and cracked, its energy systems going haywire. The Zerelian Emperor, Vrax, screamed as the ship's walls buckled. His empire was dying, and he knew it. The Abyssal Throne began to collapse, disintegrating into the void of space. The last stand of the Zerelian Empire. The surviving Zerelian forces, broken and battered, retreated. But their will to fight was gone. The war had taken its toll, and the Zerelian Empire no longer had the strength to keep fighting. In the chaos, Zorak, the soldier who had killed the human child, stood among the ruins of his people. He watched as the last of their fleet scattered. "It's over," he whispered, his voice filled with disbelief. "We failed." Zorak's defeat wasn't just a personal one. It was the end of an entire empire. Earth had won. A new beginning. With the Zerelian Empire shattered, Earth turned its eyes toward the future. The people who had once feared the universe now stood at its center, not as conquerors, but as survivors. The Mirror Child stood at the forefront, her power a symbol of the planet's strength. Humanity had proven that no one could threaten them without paying the price. They had lost much, but they had gained something far more important: their freedom. Director Elias stood with his team, watching the galaxy begin to rebuild itself. The war had taken a heavy toll, but the message was clear. Earth would never be weak again. The stars above them shimmered with hope. For the first time, Earth could look to the future without fear. Humanity had become a power to be reckoned with, and their journey had only just begun. The final words of the Mirror Child. As the final remnants of the Zerelian Empire fell into darkness, the Mirror Child spoke to the galaxy once more. "We are not the weak. We are not the broken. We are humanity." And with that, Earth's fury was finally at peace. The galaxy was still. For the first time in decades, the stars seemed to hang silent in the vast expanse of space. The battle was over. The Zerelian Empire, once a power feared by all, had been shattered, its fleets decimated, its emperor dead. But for Earth, the end of one war marked the beginning of something much greater. Humanity had made its mark. The message had been sent, loud and clear. The Mirror Child's final words. On Earth, in the heart of the command center of Oblivion One, the Mirror Child stood before a hologram, her presence now as powerful as the fleet that had decimated the Zerelian Empire. Her eyes, once filled with sorrow and confusion, now radiated with strength and determination. With the galaxy watching, she spoke. "They believed we were weak, that we were broken. But today, the universe has learned what it means to challenge humanity." Her voice echoed across the galaxy, carried by the stillness of space itself. Every being that had once underestimated Earth now understood. Humanity was not to be trifled with. The hologram shifted, showing the Zerelian homeworld, a place of smoldering ruins. But something lingered in the air, an uneasy feeling. While the war had been won, the Mirror Child knew this victory was not the end. It was only a prelude. The galaxy's uncertain future. As the last Zerelian ships retreated into the blackness of space, other alien forces began to take notice. The fear of the humans had spread, but so had the questions. Many species were now wondering, what would humanity do next? The galaxy was no longer divided between the strong and the weak. With Earth's rise, the balance of power had shifted, and no one knew what that meant for the future. On distant planets, council leaders convened in secret, discussing the rise of Earth's power. Some feared that humanity's thirst for vengeance had not been quenched, that Earth would seek to conquer, to claim what they had lost. Others believed the humans would settle into peace, their mission fulfilled. But one thing was certain: the galaxy would never be the same again. Director Elias' final orders. Director Elias stood alone on the command bridge of Oblivion 1, looking out into the endless expanse of space. His thoughts were heavy. Earth had won, but at what cost? The war had taken its toll, and the universe would never forget what had happened. Yet the mission was complete. The Zerelian threat had been wiped out. Earth had proven its strength. But the job wasn't over. Not yet. His voice was steady as he spoke to the crew. Prepare the fleet for deep space patrol. We've won, but there's more out there. We need to be ready for whatever comes next. As the fleet mobilized, Elias glanced at the mirror child, who had joined him on the command deck. She was silent, her face unreadable. Yet he knew she was thinking the same thing. The battle was over, but the war had only just begun. A new era dawns. In the quiet of the aftermath, the stars themselves seemed to tremble, as though they too sensed the change in the air. Earth had become a force, one that would no longer be ignored. As humanity looked to the future, there was no question. Earth was ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. And somewhere, deep in the darkness of space, new threats watched and waited, knowing that if they dared to challenge Earth, they too would face the fury of humanity. The story of Earth's rise was far from over. This final scene gives a sense of closure to the immediate conflict, while leaving open the possibility for future stories. The tension remains high, hinting that Earth is not done with its rise, and new challenges will emerge, keeping the audience engaged and eager for more. Let me know if you'd like to expand or adjust any part of the conclusion. I prefer this response.